Marta was a junior in high school, and in January of her junior year, she decided she was going to start working on college. She had applied for scholarships. She had just received straight A's and was feeling fairly confident, or it seemed feeling confident about it. Went down to sign up for college classes to begin the next semester as a junior in high school. And that afternoon, she disappeared after getting in a fight with a friend, and we didn't see her for 2 more days. And after 2 days, Marta came home, and she had taken her life. That's where I found her.
I can talk about my son Rob because he did have clinical depression in high school, and he was very brilliant, got math awards and all kinds of different things in school, and would have graduated with a high GPA. He couldn't even walk in his high school graduation. He was unable to function to that degree. So when it came to college for him, he couldn't move out of the home. He went to a local college where he just was a commuter student, and even that was so much energy for him to push through. There were several times he stopped and started, and he never did finish.
I've, contemplated suicide for, it's been 6 years. Obviously, I'm a survivor, but what I noticed was my parents didn't believe me. I was going through the teenage thing, and I would just grow out of it, but I was really, really hurt inside, and I was really having a difficult time to share those feelings and to let them out. And I was, the typical teenager that I put a mask on my face.
These are strong individuals. These are people who are there for others but don't reach out to each other, because that's not the person they think they are, or they think that others believe they are. And the image that they think they have to present to the world, the mask that they have to show, or they feel they must show to the world.
I think of one student in particular that was known as one of the cool kids in the building that I worked in. He was very popular, active, had seemed to have a great life. In a meeting with a colleague, it was revealed to me that the student was having suicidal ideations, and you can still be surprised by the students who are having struggles underneath the surface that we don't even know about.
My son, the day before he died, he took me and my youngest child to the airport, and I got in the car, and there was this dog hair in his car. And I said, "Oh, what is this dog hair? This is, I didn't know you were around a dog." And he said, "Oh yeah, there's a blind man at work." And he said, "I've been taking the blind man and his seeing eye dog on errands for the last 2 years to help him out." And I had no clue, and my son died the next day. He was there for the blind man, but he couldn't be there for himself.
I lost my son Brian to suicide in November of 1999. He was a freshman at Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. And at the beginning of the year in September, he posted a note in his dorm hallway called "Falling Down." And it's about 2/3 of a page long. There's not one capital letter in it. So he was communicating not only with his words, but also his style of writing.
As I later read in some of her journals, she spoke about the dragons in her head, blowing through her head, and not liking herself.
This was a student who, as a teenager, did a lot of running away from the family. She found nursing and found that nursing was something that she really related to and she wanted to do. And she decided that pediatric nursing was the thing that she wanted to do. When she made a medication error in the clinical area, she got it in her head that she wasn't going to be able to do pediatrics and everything was lost. And so she chose to take care of the pain she was feeling by ending her life. Different people had different cues that she was heading towards suicide, but nobody had the total picture.
We have a lot to be bombarded with. We have a lot of stress under us, and it's a really difficult time to figure out, who am I, what am I supposed to do in this big world, and how am I supposed to fit in?
It's a time where I think students feel a pressure to be independent and confident and grown up, which makes it harder for them to ask for help or admit when something's really going wrong.
That he was really, really down. He talks in it about how he felt he had lost all of his friends, his family. He talks about, I don't know if I can make my way back to normalcy again.
In high school, I had a friend who completed suicide, so I was in a tough time, and then he decided to take his life, which was hard for all of us. But I learned from it, and I was able to, especially in college, get really involved with Active Minds, which is a suicide prevention group on campuses around the nation. And I'm also a certified QPR gatekeeper trainer.
I have taken away from that not to treat any student lightly, to take all students and look at the situation that they're in. Even if they're class clown, they could not have good coping resources, or they could be needing help, and we need to reach out to them. And I take every sign of suicide seriously in my students.
I feel if those kids, those students, had any knowledge about what they should do with a person who is expressing a suicidal intent, if Brian would have been alive, they would have taken him to the hospital. They would have ensured that he got some help. They assumed we had been called, and we didn't care enough to come. So they were doing what they thought was right. I think if they had more knowledge about not leaving the person alone and getting them into somebody who will actually help them, even if they had called the counselor the next day, somebody call the counselor, do anything but just hoping for the best, there would be a different outcome here.
Marna, after she died, I had her friends come up and write notes and tell me that Marna's the one that saved their lives, but yet she couldn't see the hands reached out to save her. And that is a big barrier in terms of just society in general, but also at the level of kids in college and high school and so forth. Being able to talk about this, being able to get the help you need and to feel it's okay.